Hey there! Welcome to Leathercraft with Kay Orton. I've been doing leathercraft most of my life. I learned leathercraft in 4-H when I was a kid. I've been a leathercraft leader for about 45 years now. I continue to learn leathercraft all the time through the Colorado Saddle Makers Association, where we have workshops and seminars that help teach us each year. You learn leathercraft from everybody that teaches you. Everyone does it a little bit different, and that's okay. Listen to everyone, how they teach you, and then use those techniques that work the best for you. There are a lot of tools around. Use the tools that you have, learn what you like, and then when you buy new tools, buy the tool that makes the impression that you want, and make sure it's a good quality tool so you're not wasting your time. I hope you enjoy leathercraft. And now I think it's time for us to get started. We're going to do a little bit of inverted carving now, and I put this piece of tracing paper onto this is a wallet pattern. We're just going to do this part right here, and so I've started drawing it, and I was going to show you how to stay on the lines, and I see that I'm not staying on the lines very good, so maybe I better do something different, huh? So I let it get off just a little bit, but as luck would have it, I stayed on pretty good, so we're still okay. We're gonna fix this line here a little bit. I have a little tiny eraser, and we'll get rid of a little bit right there that didn't go the right direction. Okay, I'm going to move my weight there to where it holds on to it a little bit better. Okay, when you're tracing a bigger pattern like this on, it's important that you get it real exact. Okay, and that you kind of think about what direction you want it to. When you're tracing your lines, trace till the line's done. Like this line here, how we started in here and came out to there like that. Oops, got it off again. And you need to, like this one comes clear down into there, and then this one starts here and comes over, just like this one. This top one just went from there to there, but these started down in here like this. That'll help you later on to now this right here, on most of this kind of a pattern, you just have a dotted line here. I'm gonna dot it. This one they have solid, but I'm gonna dot it because I think that we're gonna do a little something different on that, and I don't think we're going to want a line cut in there. We just want to have it beveled. This is a little different type of a than what we're used to doing, and it'll be a lot of fun though. Okay. Oop, we missed one. Here we go. When you get just about done, you need to kind of take a look over it, and then there again, hang on to it good, lift it up just a little bit to make for sure that you got everything you wanted to get, and we did. So the only thing I'm going to change here is I'm going to make sure that I got this line where we had to do a little erasing, make sure that it's right. Okay. All right, then we're going to, I forgot to get my leather wet. Well, that's not good. Oh well, we'll get it wet. You could do this with the sponge too if you wanted. Okay, we're getting it pretty wet, and then it'll kind of finish soaking in while we're tracing it on. This I'm going to take and wipe off the excess water that got sprayed, the overspray. Okay, I started to put a line here, as you can see, and then I realized that I didn't really, that wasn't going to fit on this piece, so it will fit on the side, so that helps me center it, and then I just have to look at this and go, this needs to be the same distance away as this. So we just have to get it a little bit. There we go. And then I'm gonna start at the top. So I'm gonna put my weight, my shot bag here at the bottom part, and then I'm gonna hold it with my finger also, and then go ahead and trace on the top part. Okay. Now you guys know how to trace, so I'm gonna go ahead and trace this on, and you won't have to watch me the whole time. Okay, so I got all the lines traced. Let's double check, make sure they're all there. It looks like they are. I see a few I'm gonna have to work on a little bit, and here too. Always take your time and to double check that, because it sometimes is hard to get it fit back on. When I look at this line here, I kind of made a squarish corner there, so I think we would want to kind of smooth that up a little, don't you think? I think so. And then right here, see the same thing, how it's thicker here than here. Let's see about getting this a little bit more like what it was supposed to be too. Same right here. This maybe needs to be so that this has a nice gradual bend to it. And here where we made a little boo-boo, we want to fix that. And anything else we want to fix? This is where you can do your fixing. Okay, I think this looks funny, so I'm gonna take the original pattern and take a look at it and go, did they really mean for this line to come and touch this? And no, they didn't, did they? So we don't want that line to come over here. I'm not sure why I drew it that way. So what we're gonna do is, whoops. We're gonna take this end of this, or the end of your modeling spoon, or this end, either one, and we're very carefully just kind of wisping and scraping that there, and then when we do other stuff to it, that'll all go away. But we only want this to come to there. So I wouldn't have caught that if I hadn't kind of been looking it over to make sure everything looked good to me. And I kind of think this looks funny, so I'm going to just change it to what I like. A little gentler curve there, and get rid of a corner there. And so pretty soon you start learning how to fix things to where if you messed up on your tracing, you can just fix them before you. Now, as you notice, those lines are kind of hard to see. So what I do sometimes is, if you just spray it or dampen it, it'll make those show up. So now we can go ahead and swivel knife, and you know, we're gonna swivel knife it just like we do the rest. You know, we're gonna get our blade polished up, so that it's nice and smooth, and it'll cut through good. And then we'll start cutting. You probably don't have to watch the whole thing be cut. Now, I wanted you to kind of start watching it, because this kind of a design has longer and sweeping lines, where that other one had little short lines. So you're going to want to turn your leather and try to follow those lines, and whenever your hand gets a little bit uncomfortable, then you're going to move your leather to where you can see what you're doing, and you're always going to fit it right in the center of that cut. No sense in ever getting in a hurry about this. You know, sometimes slower is faster, because if you go slower, do a good job the first time, then you don't have to do it over. So then it really was faster, wasn't it? And every time your hand gets uncomfortable or you can't see what you're doing, then you need to move it. That's why we start out on small projects when we're first learning, is because we need to be able to move our project to where we can see what we're doing. Okay, I'll go ahead and finish doing this. I think that was the main things I wanted you to learn on this one, is to try to keep those lines nice and smooth, because they're kind of long lines. And then I'll get back with you here in a minute. Well, that was fun. One thing about long sweeping lines is it's kind of fun to make those long curves and such with a swivel knife. Now here is where we're going to have to remember, because usually when you carve, you're going to be beveling on the outside. And I almost started to bevel on the outside, but we're doing inverted, which means we're going to do everything the same on these lines in here, but we're going to invert. We're going to bevel on the inside of these outside lines. So we're going to take a beveler. And remember how we talked about the different size of bevelers? This is where you learn to use different sizes of bevelers. I have three sizes of bevelers here. I don't know if you can see them here. This one, of course, it's a big one, a big long one. This is a little shorter, and this is like the middle. Okay, this one's kind of the one that you would use for most everything, and that's a normal size for most things. This is a little smaller. Now this one is a bigger one. So where a person might use this big one is you might bevel along all of these long straight lines, but when you get to the curve, you're going to want to go to one of these smaller ones. I think we're going to go ahead and just use this middle-sized one for just about everything, because I think it'll fit good. But if you have, that's why there's different sizes of bevelers. All right, now you guys have to keep reminding me to bevel on the inside, not the outside. Okay, so we're going to bevel here on the inside of this outside line. It'll confuse you a little bit, but it's really kind of fun, and it looks cool when you're done. Okay, so can you see that how it's just a little different than, I haven't ever done this pattern, so it's kind of fun to get to do it. I have this pattern book right here that is telling me how to do it, and as I look at it, it should remind me that we really are supposed to do the camouflage first, and so we should go ahead and do the camouflage first. We're gonna wait on that beveling and do the camouflage first. I kind of wasn't following that pattern very good. So we're going to take this camouflage tool and there we go. It shows here on this pattern that this camouflage tool is going to go up this line. I don't know if you can see that. Right there like that. We have to learn to follow patterns because that's where you're going to learn a lot of your stuff is through these patterns to follow. And so, whoa, wrong pattern. Here we go, this one. Okay, so we're going to go up this side of this line here, okay, and we're going to go up this stem, and we're going to go on the underside over here. A camouflage tool almost always goes on the underside of a curve, because usually then you bevel on the upper side and put your veiner there. So we're going to start here, and we're going to put, let me see if we can get where you can see better. See how we put the point of that right in there, and the line right there goes straight up. See how it doesn't overlap over here. It's straight with that. The point is in the line, and it's straight right there. And then we're just going to tap it a little, and then we're going to move it the same distance each time. That's the important part about this. Put the point of it in the line and try to get it to where it's right there with the line, or staying right on the edge of the line. And then when you get over here, you don't want to see this little this heel of this camouflage tool. So we're going to tip it back a little bit so that won't show. Okay, and I had it turned, so I'm gonna, shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And you see how it's just making a now doing this where you can see it and I can't see it, I kind of got these points out here, and it's best if you can't see those points. They should be right in the line. So on this one, let me see. Now we're gonna go on the underside here. I'm going to I can see better on this one, and hopefully you can too. So I'm got it, and I'm just tipping it a little bit. And the same space between is probably the most important thing, so that it looks uniform. Okay, got to make sure you can see what you're doing. Tip it back a little, because we aren't going to want to see those. Got the point in there, straight up to along parallel to it, and then tip it back. And then the last one we're going to fade out just a little bit, so we're going to hit it a little bit less. You go less, less, more, 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 less, less. Okay? So a fade in and fade out kind of deal. Alright, and then the other thing is right up this little stem. Now, this is a pretty big tool to fit up the stem, so what we'll do is we'll just tip it for a little while, and if we tip it and lean it back, then we'll be okay, and it'll make the right kind of a, okay? Now, sometimes you're gonna, like right over here, I just hit a little bit over there, and sometimes you see the end of this over here. Some of your other tools, when we bevel, it'll take care of all that. That's why you're supposed to do this before you bevel, is then it cleans up all your mess that you make if you don't get your camouflage tool exactly where you want it. Okay, now I'm pretty sure we're supposed to bevel. But I do think I'll look at this book and see. I'll let you see it too. So it looks like here now we're supposed to bevel to the inside here, okay, on all around it. But these lines on the inside of here would be beveled just like normal, like you would bevel on the outside of them, you know. So it's going to be you'll have to pay attention to the pattern a little bit, and I'm going to make this pattern so I can see it over there a little better. Maybe so you can see it too. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, now we'll go back to beveling a little bit. And because we're beveling on a different side than usual, it just seems different. And so it's you know, it might be something that'll take a little getting used to. So if you decide to do a project with inverted carving, practice. Do a scrap piece of something before you do it for the first time, because okay, now right there I kind of went over made a little notch. I was able to fix it, but when you're doing this kind of inverted carving, these lines you can see need to be real exact. You don't want to go over your line anywhere, so be careful. Okay, so I went ahead and went around, basically around the outside of it, beveling on the inside here. Do you see how it right around there, and then didn't do anything on this inside line right here, coming around here. So I'm staying on the inside all the way around here. And when I come to here, usually we are on the outside and we would follow that on the around, but we're on the inside to here, and then we go like this. Okay, so we did it on the inside of all those lines, which is just the opposite of what we would normally do. That's the inverted part of it. Okay, and now we're basically going to do what we would normally do on the inside, as we would any regular carving. So right here, see, like we've beveled on the inside of this line here, over to here, and then here, and then the rest of this line we're going to bevel like we would normally, only to there though. So then it starts looking like regular carving. So right here we're gonna bevel on this side. So it does get a little confusing when you switch over on sides. But you just have to remember that inverted means that you're doing just the opposite on the outside outline of it. Then the inside lines are all the same as you would normally do. And so like this one, normally we would bevel it here, and we will do that too. Okay, so we got that line. And then do you see this space right here? We made this little, it's kind of like a little leaf thingy, I guess. And this space that's standing up, and you'll see it more and more as we get finished, but all of this space out here and this space in here that's all standing up, you can see it on this picture a little bit better right now, this lighter colored. All this space standing up is called negative space. And so it makes then this design look down in the leather. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, and it does make it a little harder to understand, but it looks pretty cool in the end. Okay, so that's all of them there. Then right here, this little leaf here, we just have to do right to here, because you know, on regular carving we would have gone all the way around, but because it's inverted, we went on the inside, around the whole inside of that. And then here on the seed pod, we're going to do it just like we would have done a regular one. And so we'll get that done just regular, and over on the other side of it too. Sometimes these things move around, so if I just remember to move my shot bag, it helps. Okay, and then these lines here, so we've beveled on the inside here and here, and so then, but we switch now and we're bevel on this side of this line, same over here. We're as if we had been doing this the regular carving way, we would have beveled all the way around the outside. So it's just a little different that way. I know you can't see what I'm doing there, but we'll just quick like do that one line. Okay, and then this we're going to go ahead and make a just bevel the dotted line. That's what you do with dotted lines, is bevel them and not cut them. The reason we don't want to cut that is if we cut it, and then you see we're going to put this a little row of seeds there, and if you cut it, sometimes then the cut shows, and we don't really want that to show. So okay, I think that's all the beveling. Nope, one more spot right there. So we have to bevel this right there. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a pear shader, and the pear shader we're going to use is, we're going to use a checked pear shader, and here it is. I'm going to, do you notice how this is getting, it's still damp right here, and then it looks like it's drying out right through here and on the edges. So I'm going to spray this. We'll move things away from it a little bit, and we're going to kind of spray it right up through there. We're going to try not to get that any wetter, and then we're going to do the edges so that should be good now till we're done. If you get a little pool of water, always just kind of smear it out so that we don't have then a round spot that it makes on the leather. Okay, when we're doing our pear shading, like right here, we're going to pear shade in here and right around like this. And so you want to have it away from the edge, just like how you learned in Unit 2 how to pear shade. You're going to do the same thing. And I usually just kind of go ahead and break a little bit of a trail to kind of make sure I'm going the right way, and then I come back and deepen it, and you fade out like this. Do you see? There's one, so we'll do that leaf. Let's go over here and do this leaf also. Now this is kind of a skinny leaf, so in order to do that with this tool, I'm going to tip this to see how we're just getting then kind of the side of it. Do you see how we just got the side of the tool to make it skinnier, and that way it fits in that space a little bit better. Okay, and let's see, then I'm having to look at the pattern because I've not done this pattern before, and so we're gonna come in right here and go and then fade it out like that. Then we're also going to do right here. Now remember, it's important that you have this little ridge along here. It helps your pear shading stand out, and it's the same way with regular carving as it is with this inverted carving. So I'm gonna try to fit those together like that, and then I believe we have one right here, and let me see. Yeah, this one you're gonna kind of go along the outside like so, and see how we want to have this little edge right here, and then kind of fade it in and then fade it out a little bit. Maybe okay. And then this little round leaf needs a, so you use the fat part toward yourself and go away from yourself, and you can see better. You know, lots of people do all of these things different ways, and so not any one way is correct. I'm showing you this way, but someone else might show you another way, and whatever way works the best for you that you can do it is what works for you. I was taught to swivel knife going away from myself, and when I found out that other people did it coming toward themselves, I was like, wow, that's lots easier. I can do it much better. But it wasn't, the fact that I learned to go away from myself actually came in handy, because now I can do it either way, and it make it look however I want to. So we're gonna kind of see how we're just making that be a little bit of a we're trying to make this space look where it fades out a little bit like that. Oh, I see a line we missed when we're beveling. This is a line that I can show how to use this long beveler on. This line right here is we forgot to bevel this. And see how, since it's longer, takes less time, but you can only use these long ones on a slight curve or a straight line or something. You don't want to try to get them into a tight curve, because then you got yourself into a mess. We need to have this line beveled, because we're actually then gonna use the veiner on it, and you almost always use a veiner on a line that's beveled. Okay, we're back to pear shading. We need to do a little pear shade right here. And we fade it out. That looks like it would be the perfect place to do just one hit, doesn't it? But you never really just do one hit. You always kind of fade it out a little bit. See, if it was just one hit, it wouldn't look right. So you're going to kind of make it the shape you want it, and then fade it out a little so that it looks kind of a natural thing. Now on these little pear shaded spaces coming down here on the flower, we're going to do like we always do. We're going to kind of break a trail, make sure it's in the right place, and then go deeper right down to the you see how now it's a little lumpy, so we want to go back and make sure. First we want to make sure it's in the right spot, and then we'll go back and smooth it. Okay? I always start in the middle, or well, sometimes I usually do start on the side, I guess. No, I usually start in the middle. And so see how you can kind of get started in the middle, then you want it deeper when it comes up here, and it's real important to have this little ridge showing there. It helps it to really show up more, and then that way you can put one of these on either side. Like so. Now on this one, I usually do this one first, and then this one, so that I can, because we're just going to make kind of a wider little shaded spot, and then bring this down into it. See how we're coming really close to the line, but we don't want to smash on this line, so we got to be a little careful about that, and really watch where you're going there, because this is real important on a design like this, is to not smash. This needs to be tall and crisp. I did a little bit right there, but it'll be okay. Okay, I think we have it pear shaded. Now we're going to use the veiner. The veiner we're going to use is just a regular veiner. They used a veiner that's called a wiggler, which is just kind of a little zigzag line, but we're going to go ahead and use a regular veiner. Now when you use the veiner, I always want to see this where to get the right angle, you want to see, I'm trying to get this so you can see it, I want to see a V right here. Okay? Is my hand in the way? See, there's a little V there. Okay? And then you'll just keep moving it and keeping that V, and that as you come around the curve, you're going to keep turning it like this. Okay? If you see an L, I always say V is for veiner and L is for loser. So don't do an L. Make sure this is an angle that you're seeing a V right in there, and keep moving it to be a V. Don't be a loser. We don't want any L's, okay? Because it's going the wrong direction if that. But I'm going to have to turn this to where I can see my V, okay? And usually the veiner is a little closer together. See how we're getting a little closer together than the, but you really need to see what you're doing on a veiner, and it keeps turning, because a veiner that's spaced really nice can really make a pattern look nice, and a veiner that is not spaced right can really draw away from it. So see, those came out pretty good. So I think they look pretty nice. Okay, the other place that we're going to do this is right here on this line that we beveled. So there again, we're going to put this in the line. We want to see a V, and we're going to move it the same amount of space as we did on the other one. And as we get ready to go around this curve, we can lean it back just a little bit, because we don't want the other tip of this hitting anything else. So we're going to want to lean it back, and we tip it a little so that we have a V in there, not a L. There. It's fun just to practice on those kind of lines to get it right. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is a cedar, and we'll put the seeds around the we're going to put the seeds right around here. Okay, so we need to have this pointing at you, which is really pointing at me, and we're going to be able to see all sides so that they're just touching. Sometimes I just go ahead and press them in just a little, and to make sure they're all going to fit just right. Do you see how I pressed them in and kind of got them in the place that I want them? If I wasn't correct on those, then I could go back and fix them a little. But they look good, so I'm gonna. And you want to hit them all the same depth. I think I need to practice what I'm preaching, because I didn't get that one. Had to redo it. Okay, so there we got our little ring of those, and then what they've done is made some little hatch marks in there. Let me see. I just noticed that there's one more place that they have a veiner, and it's always kind of fun to put a veiner right here, and you're gonna tip it back because you don't want that other. Okay, and it kind of goes with the flow of the pattern. All right. I think I'm going to get a couple other tools that I didn't get out, and I'll be right back. We're going to use a couple of tools that we haven't used much before, and one of them is called a stop. And I don't know if you can really see what it looks like, but it's like a teardrop shape. And where we use those is right at the end of a line. See how this line comes over to here and stops? So we're going to set the skinny end of this right in the line, and right when the line stops, we're going to put that, and then we'll hit it. And do you see how it makes a little round thing? Kind of finishes that line off. And you can use one here, and they're using one at the end of each of these also. Okay. I think we're gonna. There we go. They used a little bigger one than we're using. That's okay. You know, you can sometimes you can just change the tools up to meet whatever need you want it to. Okay, and so then how this line comes in, basically what you do is you just kind of finish them off. But it's important to have them pointed at, you don't want to have it like pointing this way. You want to have it going with the flow of the pattern and pointing in the direction that line is traveling. And you can't hit this tool too hard or else it'll just go right on through the leather. Let's see. Yeah, this one right here too. There you go. All right. And so then when you have a stop, you can take a little mule's foot, and a mule's foot looks like this. Okay, and make kind of a little cup around it. So I take it get it about 1/16 of an inch away from it, in the direction it's going, and do you see how that just kind of cups around there? Try to make each one the same. That's the important part here. So you need to be able to see into that so that you can get it there. And it's good if you can get them all about the same depth too. Now on these, this one we don't have any space. On here, what we'll do is we'll kind of fade it out. And here, see how this line is going towards this line? So you want to keep that little slight curve going. And so you're going to put one around it, just like we did that one. You see, like that. And then you're going to do another that's a little less, another that's a little less, a little less, a little less, and a little less. And you see how that kind of, you just go right on down there. Same here. There. And it kind of goes into a little point there. And let me see, there's, oh, this is a real important one now. See, this is kind of coming into a curve, so you're going to want to go around there and then go with the curve of the, I didn't do very good on that, but you want to go with the curve of how that is. I'm going to see if I can change right here. We need to sometimes on this you can just press them to get it didn't turn out like I wanted it to, but it'll be all right. Okay, is that all of them? I think that's all of the mule's foots that shows there. Okay, we're going to turn our picture over, and it shows some little decorative cuts right here in this seed pod. Right in here, you're going to kind of, it's called hatching. And do you see how, don't do what I just did and run into that other piece. Do you see how we're going to go all that, about that far apart, and then we're going to turn it and make little X's. Okay, and so that's how the seed pod on this one is going to work. All right, and then we're going to put some decorative cuts in. When you have leaves like this, you can kind of follow the edge of where you've pear shaded a little bit. So it's gonna be deeper at the end and then fade out. Okay, and like right here, we're gonna go. Okay. Now I think this would look just a little better if this came a little farther. And then we want to make sure that we make this one, that the longer one is on the bottom also. And okay, and this one too. sometimes you don't have them come to a point, but something like this, sometimes it's easier to have them come to a point. And so you always kind of want to have your decorative cuts go with the flow of the pattern, and it looks like they've just put like one little doohickey there, and since this flower is going that way, we're going to just put like 3 little ones kind of going off that direction too, and we're gonna put a couple of little ones right here. And since we have kind of your pear shading part right here, we're gonna, so that it shows the end of the leaf there a little bit. And right here in this little tiny thing, you know, we didn't put a pear shade in there, and maybe we will. We're gonna use, again, just the edge of the tool. It's not gonna really do too much to it, except put a little bit of a check there, and then we're just going to put a slight little cut there into it. Let me see, and then we have this little, and sometimes people can just put their own what they want to on it. Everybody does a different decorative cut, and it's just fine. The important part is to go with the flow of the pattern. There. Those look like the leaves. Now we have to do the flower. Okay? And looking at these, so we're going to kind of come down like so, and we never want to have these touch each other, or they just need to come down beside each other. I kind of tell a story about a race car driving. Just pretend these are your race cars coming in there, and you don't want them to crash, so they got to pull in beside each other so you don't have them crashing into each other. After you've done a few swivel knife cuts, your hand just tells you what to do. You just listen to your hand. Now they don't show any cuts at all right here, but I kind of think it needs one. And so I'm going to put some in. There. Does that get everything? I think so. So, see how it looks different because it's inverted. We've beveled toward the inside, all around the outside, but in the inside we've beveled and done all of the different techniques the same as if they had been regular. I'm looking at this line right here, and I kind of don't like that somehow this maybe didn't get cut far enough, so I'm going to bring it down there just a tiny bit more, and then I'm going to just bevel that a little bit and fade it out, because it just didn't, it quit too soon, I think. Okay, I think we're finished. And so this is an inverted carved piece, and I will put a pattern with this so that you can it helps to copy what is going on.